Your chairmanship. I'm writing to speak about the Europa School in my constituency at Culham, but this is not an attempt to get one over on the Minister. Quite the opposite. The Minister has been incredibly helpful with this school, and his letter to them recently was a model of assistance that helped, I'm told, to bring the national delegations, because it does have the word European in the title. It helped to make a significant impact on the heads of other national delegations, and I disagree with what the. So I thank him for that. But I disagree with what the Honourable Lady has just said, and I suspect this is going to go backwards and forwards across the chamber in the next few minutes. The Europa School was founded as a free school because local people wanted it. It was not founded as a free school because the government wanted it or because any other institution decided that it wanted it. And why could it not be provided for by the local authority? It couldn't be provided for by the local authority because of the way in which it teaches the children that attend it, and I will say something about that in a few moments. That's the first point. It couldn't be provided by the local authority because it taught the European baccalaureate rather than any other baccalaureate or O-levels and A-levels, and it has now got permission to be able to continue to do that to at least until 2021, subject to what the European Commission says, since they own effectively the copyright in the European Baccalaureate. And that is an enormous advantage to children who started with the expectation of taking the European Baccalaureate when they were 5, that will work through the school until 2021. It's also a very good example of how petitions can work. I presented a petition that had been signed by parents and friends of the school, and I presented this in Parliament, and it has had a big effect. So if a message can go out from this, that actually the parliamentary petitions, as opposed to the petitions that we hear here on a Monday, are not a waste of time. It is this: it did actually achieve an effect on the Department for Education that put the issues firmly on the table and helped to crystallise them. Now, under the terms of the free school, parents have agreed to the provision of a certain type of education that I'm about to describe in a little more detail. But the importance of this school needs also to be set out. And the importance of this school can be seen from really 2011, when I started the business of getting people together to get permission for the free school to continue. And at its core, this is the first of my major points. There was a proposal to do something that has never been offered before in the UK, and incidentally has never been offered before in the European Union either. It never offered before in the European school system. And the proposers offered a complete, thoroughgoing commitment to full bilingual education. And that goes from reception class right through to the end of the school. So it's not that pupils would simply learn another language, but they would learn through that language. And that's an important distinction to make. So that they would learn the linguistic rhythm of that language, and that it was planned to be truly deep language learning, not just the acquisition of a second language overlaid on the first. And the Europa School was set up as a free school because that's what the parents wanted. And I remember having discussions with them at the time. The parents wanted that particular type of education. And it is not simply the children of parents who are of European origin, who work at the Culham Science Centre or at Harwell, who are enjoying this. It has become so attractive that it is appealing to the parents, to the children and the parents of British-born people who live in the area, who are looking for the opportunity to be able to provide the education that their children need. And during an education questions, I did ask the Minister whether he accepted that the school was proving popular with parents of all kinds, and he kindly replied that he shared my admiration for the Europa School. So how does this work? It means that you can go in and you will have history in German. It means you will have geography in French. It means that you will be taught through those languages throughout the day, and you will have to, it's not just a question of picking up the language as you go along, it's fully immersing yourself in that language. And it works. It works. And I have seen it work, and I will be going to the school very shortly to participate in the presentation of certificates and prizes for that. But critically, the freedom offered by the Free Schools programme to allow free schools to set their own curriculum has been essential. And the founders of the Europa School adopted what was the previous European School, which the Commission didn't want to fund anymore. They adopted their curriculum modified by the mandatory elements of the English national curriculum. That has been absolutely essential for how this works. And I would just, the reason I have mentioned that is because I think it goes to the heart that free schools are what parents want. They provide something that is different from what the local authority wants. And the success of it can be seen in the recent Ofsted report for the school, which produced a very good result.
Can you give way?
Of course.
Thank you. Very grateful to my honourable friend for giving way, and his references to Europa School remind me of Northampton International Academy, which attempts to achieve that ethos as a fairly new free school as well. But what I particularly wanted to ask him and reflect on what he said is his reference to this choice, this ability to drive excellence through parental choice. And Northampton School for Boys has just been granted permission to go for a free school, and that comes off the back of Northampton School for Boys being a school that parents locally recognise as a provider of excellence. So would you agree with me that this programme provides an opportunity for that parental view to be broadened and spread across local communities as a result of their existence?
I thank my honourable friend for his intervention, and I do agree with him. I do agree with him, and I think that he has already hit on the key word that there is to describe the whole of the programme, and that is choice. This is about parental choice, and what I have described has worked very well for my school, and I hope it works very well for his. So on that basis, I'm not sure that there is very much more that I can add. It is a model school that everyone is welcome to come and see how the teaching is done. They will, of course, have to speak Italian, German, Spanish, in order to understand the courses as they are delivered. But I'm sure, this being a multilingual chamber, that will cause no problems at all for anyone.